Rindö is a beautiful little island just outside the capital of Sweden. Actually, Rindö is known to be one of the most beautiful islands of the archipelago. The island is quite small, and because there's not so many people living here, the life in Rindö can get quite tough sometimes. One of the most annoying things about living here is the fact that it actually is an island. And this means that the only way to get off here is by taking a boat, or in this case, the ferry. And the ferry is quite efficient on its own, but you still have to be just on time to secure your way over the sound. Because the island is so small and tiny, the population is around 1,000, which means we only have one school on the island. And this school is only for students between 6 and 12 years of age. As a small child, the life in Rindö was not as complicated as it is now. As you grow older, you start to realize that living centralized is a good thing. If you want any sort of education, well, leaving the island is the only option. Or otherwise you will have to become a farmer. Alright, so now you know that living here isn't good for your education. But also the life here doesn't offer you the social bits of life. If you reach high school, you will get some new friends from other parts of the country. And as you live here on the island, you will have a hard time being with them as much as you would like. Well, I actually have to mention one thing which gives you greater chances of succeeding with the social parts of life. On the island, there's actually a bus, and the bus commutes from one side of the island to the other. And also, I forgot to tell you that we actually have 2 ferries running at the same time, one on each headland of the islands. And both these things, the bus and the ferries, they give us a somewhat easier way into the city, where our friends are. There are also other problems with the life here on Rindö. For example, if you were to go shopping, the island doesn't offer you any real stores. The ones we have here are both expensive and short on variety. Although we actually have 2 very nice restaurants here. They are both one big part of the tourist attractions on the island. And as Rindö is the neighbour to one of the country's most visited islands, Vaxholm, the tourism on Rindö is quite decent. In general, I like living here. And I think the island is a great place to grow up. But as soon as you reach the age of 13, 14 or 15, you somehow outgrow the island. But this doesn't prevent you from moving back here as you get older to enjoy your last couple of years at one of the most beautiful places on earth.
In the summer, when it's warmest, it might be very nice to have a swim in the sea. If you then are on the island Rindö, it's your lucky day. Here on Rindö, we have lots of places to have a swim from. For example, beaches, cliffs, and different kind of bridges. Rindö has places to bath that fits everyone, from big to small, young to old. The most famous place to have a swim at on Rindö is probably a bridge by the sea that's called Vegabryggen, which also is my personal favorite place. The bridge is most famous and therefore used by teenagers because of one simple reason. You can jump off the bridge into the water. You see, the bridge is about a meter or a meter and a half above the sea level, which make it possible to jump from, which is very estimated by, just like I mentioned earlier, teenagers. This year, I haven't had any time to swim at Vegabryggan, just as many others, because of all the homeworks, tests and projects we got from school. But me and my friends are really looking forward to jump off this amazing bridge into the water and feel the water around us and let it embrace us with its big long arms. Right now I'm especially excited to have a swim because it has been incredibly good weather in the recent past, nearly 25 degrees. Unlucky it's not that warm in the water, it's just above 15 degrees. But I have seen other kids have a swim, so I guess that's enough to have a swim. What I like more about this place is that you can jump not just from the bridge to the sea, but also from the bridge to the little small beach that's beside the bridge on the right side. I love to switch from jumping to the sea to the beach, mostly because I do flips and tricks like backflips from the bridge. If you can't do a backflip or another trick, then I don't think that's very fun. I mean, without the backflip, how fun is it to jump from a bridge to a sand pile? Not very, I can say. I think, at last. What I'm trying to say is that those who can do a backflip would like this place more than those who can't do it. Anyway, just beside the beach there's a field of grass. In the middle of the field there's a fireplace. It's here where the people that lives in Rindö celebrates Valborg, a Swedish tradition. Everyone helps out getting the fire going, and then staring at it while talking to family members or friends. Today it's Valborg, and I'm right here at Vegabacken, staring at the burning fire and just enjoying the evening and the night with my friends. Of course, there is other fantastic beaches and bridges around the very beautiful island Rindö. But that is for another day. Right now, I feel like going to drink a glass of soda and sit here on a sofa made of wood while watching out of the sea and counting boats and sailing ships passing by the sound.
What can you do here on Rindö? Well, there's much to do on Rindö. You can, for example, go outside and explore the island and just enjoy the overall nature. Or you can take your bicycle and go for a ride in the forest, or just on the road cruising around. My personal favorite, and what I do the most, is that I go outside with some friends, and we often take our longboards or our bicycles, and then we head to a rooftop on the eastern side of the island, where we used to sit and just talk about anything really, while we're listening to some music. We do this often, like 4 to 7 times a week. It's really good for the brain to just relax and not only talk about the school. And that brings me to the school. We got a kindergarten and a school here on the island. It goes from, kindergarten to 6th grade. When you reach 6th grade, you will begin in Norrbergsskolan in Vaxholm, where I currently go to school. It goes from 7th grade to 9th grade and takes about 30 minutes door to door for me and most of my friends. We have to take the bus every morning that takes us to the ferry, and from there we walk or take another bus to the school. There are roads on the island, obviously, and the vehicles you can use to get to places is car and then bicycle and so on. Rindö is only 5 kilometers across on the length and 1.2 kilometers wide, so it's not that big, but there are still plenty of cars here on the island. The island has always been important from the defense historical point of view, with fortifications since Gustav Vasa's days. On Rindö's eastern side you will find the defenses Biviksfortet and Oscar Fredriksborg that was built for guarding Oxdjupet. On the western side is the defenses Rindö with its 12th battery that was built to complement the Vaxholmskastell in the defense of Stockholm's inlet via Kodjupet and northern Vaxholm Bay. Rindö entertained until the autumn of 2005 the regiment AMF-1, formerly known as KA-1. The only negative thing to live on an island is that the way to the school or the job can take some time, but it's not that big of a problem here on Rindö. But when we're going to switch schools, we have to travel 1 hour to get to a decent school in Stockholm. But I love Rindö as it is, and would not like it to change that much in the future. That is life on Rindö.